Okay. It thinks that things are happening. Holy moly. Only
Holy
20 minutes
cajoles.
late.
It's okay.
Hey. Okay. No clue how bad or good it's going to be. Could be really bad. All of this
We
is
are
happening
live
off of
with
a
one
laptop.
person.
So the laptop is struggling. I can hear it breathing. But
We're live. I see us.
does it look okay?
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Just that was not a affirming yes.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
look, it looks like the
yeah,
usual. I see the chat. We're
yeah,
good.
yeah. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, looks great. Ginger Ninja says boom. We got
Sorry
Jackson
for the
Jackson here.
delay, everyone. It was some trials and tribulations to get here.
Yep. But we got an awesome tech guy.
I really had to put on my thinking cap for that one, dude. Oh, dang it. And of course, I didn't. AI sticker. What's an AI sticker? I don't want that. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Just want a link. Just want a normal link.
Oh, we're gaining them. They're starting to jump on. We got 7
Nice.
people.
Wow. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Live.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, hey, hey. How y'all doing? Drop it in the chat.
Hello, Ginger. I'm glad to see you.
Dude,
Oh,
I think your video looks better than my video now.
maybe it's just the lighting. It's different lighting.
It's true. It is different lighting, but I feel like your laptop's newer than mine, I think. My
Maybe.
laptop's like
Could be.
2018.
Yeah, I mean, I got this laptop just a couple years ago. Two, so might be better. What's
Oh.
up, Kenny? The infamous D's bands. Hello, my friend Dustin.
D's bands in here. Yes, indeed. Stream's bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Okay.
Sorry, guys, we're a little rusty. We haven't been doing this for a while.
Does it look okay to everyone? Does it sound okay to everyone? Are things working for everything? Is everything working? Also, the chat box isn't working, so I put us like awkwardly high in the screen for no reason, it seems. Because the chat box is not working. So I'm going to go ahead and disable that because that's probably taking resources we don't need. And then I'm going to go ahead and move us. I'm going to move all of this. I'm going to move all of this down.
Moving it down, down,
We're moving
down.
it down. So we're more in the middle. Something like that. I think that happened in real time. I think that worked.
Camera says Alec has to remember how to
how
nerd.
That I do.
You forgot,
well,
bro.
so hopefully it looks and sounds okay. I don't. Wow. I'm shedding everywhere. I just took a
When are you
shower, so
not
my skin's
shedding?
real dry. Well, you can't tell because I'm on a 5-year-old laptop camera this time instead of my very expensive camera. I was gonna say my DSLR is not at my house; it's at a place that I've been shooting another podcast, so it's not accessible to me at the moment because I don't know whether or not I can get into my truck yet. I haven't tried yet this weekend. I told myself I would try this weekend, but I haven't. I
But
haven't tried yet.
why can't you get in your truck? I don't think anyone knows.
I'm
No
a
one
cripple.
knows that you're you're a cripple.
Yes.
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 No, you're a true pirate. Arr.
Yes, I have been damaged irreparably.
Damaged goods. Damaged
I
goods, ladies and gentlemen.
I am damaged beyond repair. No, I tore my ACL, and so I'm trapped. I've been trapped in my own home for now over a week. Yeah, like a week and 3 days.
Every time I go over and see Alec, I feel like it's been months to him, and he's just had a new philosophy on life and really slowed down and thought about everything. It's
Yeah.
weird what happens when you stop moving.
When it becomes difficult to just get a glass of water, all of a sudden life is moving a lot more slowly. You have to like everywhere when you get somewhere in your house, like when you move from one room to the next, you have to take like a break from like you have to stop, sit down for a second, and catch your breath. It's been fun for sure, but we're making our way through it slowly but surely. Yeah. So, but that is why I don't look as good. That's why I'm using a laptop camera. And then also, I was telling Mike before we got on here that I can't get onto my floor to plug in my other computer and change around. I'd have to like change around my desktop screens, which is normally like a really easy thing to do. Normally you can just, unplug and crawl down there and plug it in, and it's all good.
You could technically get on your floor. It's just not you could get in the position that you need to do what you need to do.
Yes, exactly. I might be able to, but it's questionable whether or not I can.
And you'd just be like pure sloth on the floor, like
exactly. But
well, it's okay. You done good.
We did it. I this is just random nerd stuff that isn't RC related, but if anyone can relate to this, the reason that we're 20 minutes late on the stream, if you have an Apple computer, which I feel like most creators have Apple computers, that's great, right? That's awesome. It's great for creating content. But for some reason, the one fatal flaw that I forgot about right up until 4 minutes before we were going to start the stream is that Apple doesn't have an easy way to record your system audio. They are marketed for creators. They are used by creators globally, and yet you can't record your system audio easily. It's like a pain in the dick to try to record your system audio. So that's cool. And I didn't remember that until the very last second. And then I had to set up a bunch of systems to circumvent that. And then in setting up those systems, I couldn't figure out how I could both pipe Mike's audio into the recording software that we're using to stream right now and be able to still hear him. But I figured out a way to do it. So that's why we're here. I had basically given up all hope that we were going to make it.
I was just being there for support. I was like, rough times, man. It's okay. I don't expect everything out of you.
We were going to stream or we weren't going to stream. We don't, we don't make promises. We just make rough estimations of what we're capable of.
Yes. And I'm capable of just support.
Next time, get your dominant hand splinted and then try to use the toilet, specifically toilet paper. Yes, that is incredibly difficult. I've been there as well. I also broke my hand a few years ago and had to have that splinted for some time, and that was not easy to do that. I was actually trying to decide what is more difficult. If it's more difficult to have a broken like leg or knee specifically, or if it's more difficult to have a broken hand. Well, I think hand still. Like I'm living through the leg right now.
You do too much.
Yeah, you do so much with it. And if it's your dominant hand specifically, man, you're absolutely screwed. Now, there are definitely some things that are more difficult with your leg, right? Like you can break your hand and you can still go like grocery shopping, right? Like you only need like one hand to do like all that stuff, like theoretically speaking. You can't you can still grocery shop, but you need to use like the little carts that zip around or whatever, like the I don't know, the handicap
old people carts.
The old people carts. Yeah, but like, dude, I'm just thinking about my normal grocery store trip. I am walking a ton through that grocery store. I'm using crutches right now, and it's hard to get like
Let's
150
put a
feet.
better word. Not you're not walking, you're wandering.
I'm hobbling. I am. Well, I'm three-legging it.
Well,
Basically,
usually you're just wandering aimlessly with two legs. Now you're just hobbling down the aisles, praying that you
yeah.
get something and you
I'm
don't have to go
always
back.
wandering aimlessly. That doesn't change just because I'm damaged now. That's always happening.
That's everywhere you go.
But you guys went out and went crawling recently, yesterday. How
That
was
is
that?
very
How
true.
was that? Give me the
Yeah,
report.
my report. My report is I kicked myself out of bed early,
You
got
already
over
had
to
your batteries
Taylor's house.
charged because you had charged them at my house the night before. I love that you showed
Yes,
up to poker night with a lipo bag full of batteries. That was great.
I was not about to like I was tired that afternoon. I took a nap and then I woke up and you know was gonna go play poker. And I was like, I don't want to do this after. I don't want to do this in the morning. I don't want to do this in the middle of the night. So I'm doing it at Alex's house. And I even thought about using your charger, but then I was like, Alex disabled right now, so I don't feel like having him hobble around his house, having to feel like he needs to host.
I could
And
have gotten it.
yeah,
It's not
I
far.
know, but it was easier. I just showed up with my little bag,
Just like that.
just like that, and charged some batteries, and it worked out. But no, we drove. It was a nice morning drive during the sunrise
Nice. Very
out to
nice.
Wendover,
Oh yeah, you drove out
and
there
it
with
was
Taylor, right?
yep, with Taylor. And for those don't know, when you go out to West Wendover, just over the state line of Utah, you pass all the crappy hotels and shitty casinos, and you go to a mecca of rocks. It is pretty sweet rocks, super grippy.
Yes. Very
We
nice.
went. It's the lower spot. There's two spots that they go to over there, and I do believe the other spot they do at the beginning of the year. And anyways,
Yeah,
it was like,
the last or the other time that I remember being there, it was like snowy. So that
yeah,
had to have
there's
been January or February event.
there's sometimes little pockets of snow here and there. It's kind of like on the side of the hillside, so it doesn't get sun
Doesn't
the
get
whole
sun all the
day.
time. Yeah, for sure.
But the morning was just a little chilly. I had quite a few layers on. I was prepared. I was not going to be cold. I promised myself I wasn't going to be cold. I even brought like an extra beanie to throw over my remote hand, but didn't really need it.
That's brilliant, dude. That's actually I never thought about doing that. Like you need
Oh,
something to fully cover to encase your remote hand. That's
I
smart.
I'll I've seen people make little makeshift like holders for when
You
we
could
go out in
probably
the
like
winter. But
modify lunch bags and like have it be, they make those
yeah,
things for like mountain bikers or road bikers who are super serious about it, where like you goes over your handlebars and they're like little mittens, and then your
all
hands
right,
are over the handlebars.
we're gonna pause. I saw the other day. I was up at the university I work at, and I see this Asian lady going down the bike lane in her little electric scooter with a full like handlebar, and it like goes down into like a full like dress down to her legs and everything. I
Wow.
swear I saw something like plugged in like a battery pack, like it was heated. And I'm sitting there like, I'm in a small hoodie. How is it even that cold right now? Is this person from the tropics? Like,
Some
I was
people
like,
really don't like the cold, man.
I know. I was like, I was waiting for like the astronaut suit or something, like the sleeping bag puffy. Have you seen the sleeping bag onesies?
The sleeping bag onesies look nice, honestly.
I'm not huge on onesies. I've owned a couple onesies in my life. I'm not like run around and being a onesie kind of person, but those sleeping bag ones, like I just want to get a really badass one for like winter camping, and you just pass out. You just
Exactly. You
like,
just walk around, and then whenever you're ready to pass out, you just pass out. You're good.
yeah, and I'm good. And like I would never like I could be in a sleeping. I'm a big guy. I'm a big dude. Being 6'2" sometimes really sucks. But you live, you endure mummy bags and different things on camping, but I think I need to find just a full-on onesie sleeping bag that's like 0 degree. No, -32.
It's probably gonna be expensive.
Hey, that will be like
Shell
me.
it
I
out.
mean, how many times have you been on a RC trip with me and I'm sitting there around a campfire with a blanket around my legs
This
like
is
a little
fair.
old man?
This is fair. It would definitely
Anyways,
increase your maneuverability. Anyways,
anyways, um,
tangent.
so we were out at Windover. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the chat back up. And it was a great time. It was a little cold at the beginning. They started setting up the 200 gate course. For those of you who don't know, it's a 801 RC event. They do one in every different part of Utah during the year, each month. And
Shout out to Mike and Zinger for doing
yeah,
that.
Mike and Zinger from West Valley Hobbies. And basically, they started setting up the 200 gate for their 5K run, which it kind of just turns into a trail run for most cars.
Mm-hmm.
But it was me, Taylor. Me and Taylor, we did a quick first round, got ahead of the entire pack. There was probably only, I don't know, 30, 40 people out there tops. But we hurried and fished the first round. On the second round, we picked up the Ginger Ninja, Cameron, and had a good old time. I shedded a layer each round. And
Nice.
by the end of the day, it was just barely starting to get a little cold. I had a nice little windbreaker, and it made me, warm enough. But
You
the
guys pretty much
rocks are
stay
killer.
out there like for the whole time through until it was starting to get dark, or
Yeah, we stayed out there till about 4 something, I think, almost
okay,
5. And
okay,
then we just went and got some fast food real quick before we hit the road.
nice.
But it was really nice. We never got really caught up behind anyone. That we did. There was a couple groups that just let us like go through real quick because we were kind of running a little faster. We stuck to the course. We really didn't do any tangents where you're doing
Sidelines.
a course and you're like, oh my gosh, look at that rock over there, dude.
That's definitely something that our
But
group is well known for. Is the
yes, where we start doing stuff and then we're like, squirrel, we're not doing that anymore.
exactly.
But this time I was riding with the Taylor, so I didn't take a lot of rigs. And the funny thing is I only took the rigs that are actually working right now.
Mm.
I got out to take out my brand new. I don't want to hear it. You know exactly what's going on.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Um,
There's no judgment here. There's no judgment.
so a little while ago, from one of our friends, Scumbag RC, picked up this guy from him. It's a Rock Pirates SCX Pro, and that was real fun because I had never driven one yet.
It's Kraken, right?
So
Kraken rails.
yeah, it's Kraken
That's my next
chassis
build.
SDXM Pro. Pretty much the only upgrade it has on it is it's got Trill brass knuckles,
Nice.
and then I had some old Vanquish wheels with some Hyrax and some brass on them, so I just kind of threw those on, and I'll tell you, it's a fun truck.
Those pros, they do work. They do.
They do work.
They do. Work.
They're super smooth. That transmission, I was just like, damn, this is nice. It just has a what is it? Hobby 2-in-1. Is that Hobby Wing? The Fusion.
The Fusion. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Fusion
the Fusion
Fusion
SE.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fusion SE in it, and it did some work. It was really fun. I'm used to my G speed before, and I really got used to it fast. The predictability. Some of those rocks are so grippy that it will catch your tire, flip your car around, and the car was like a cat, so it always kind of, landed
Always
just
landed
how it
on all
needed
four.
to be. Yeah.
I was
So
gonna
I
say
think I'll
that's
have
something I definitely love about Wendover. That area specifically, the rocks there, just that grippy, that kind of gritty texture that it has. But it's a gritty texture, but it doesn't crumble when you're driving over it. Like it's very
Yep.
hard rock, And yeah, definitely fun. Definitely makes it very fun. So even if it's cold, that's one thing. I remember doing some of those some of those early videos that I did were out there at Wendover, because that was one of the very few spots that I knew of for good crawling. And so a lot of the early videos on the channel came out of that crawling area, and they came in like the November, December, January period of time, where typically most of your rock is going to be really cold and not super grippy, but out there it doesn't matter how cold the rock is because it's crazy grippy anyways. It's got that like crazy grit to it. So, but yeah, that's a rad truck, man. That's definitely a nice one. So is that? But you said you did a few runs, so you had a couple different trucks that you were running out there.
Yeah, so I kind of split them up, and it was nice. We did about 3 rounds, and the thing about it, sorry, I'm just updating my chat. Um, each of us kind of had the same trucks. We will tell a funny story. Everybody's seen this guy, the old Sons of Crawl. Oh God!
Oh Jesus!
That was almost a Unimog on top of the laptop.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm sure that's good for it.
All right, hold up. Yeah, the broken Unimog. Let's break it more. So we had, the Sons of Crawl Phoenix, right? Everyone's seen this. And so it's pretty funny. We'll act it out, Oh, hey, Vince, you're taking a picture. We're taking a picture of the Phoenixes. Let me pose. So then it was about a pose to about this, right? Yeah, picture, I barely gunned it, and it just and my whole top rack snapped off.
Ooh, dear.
I had the bed rack up, everything, and it just went snap. So I got to print some new mounts for the rack.
Was that what's the Knights Customs rack?
Yeah, it's the Knights Customs rack for the Phoenix,
PLA
which is
Plus?
fine. What was that?
Was it PLA Plus?
I'm trying to think that it was. It might have been PLA. I can't remember if it was before. It could even be PETG.
Okay.
So I couldn't remember. It was one of my earlier kind of prints. I think I printed that mount probably 2 years ago or so.
Wow.
Because I printed it before the first pro line we went to. But yeah, that was fun. The Phoenix is always a good time. Definitely took some scratches. That
wow,
paint
you
job
actually let it get scratched now?
Well, like I said, grippy rock, and it suddenly just like whooing, it flings forward. You're like, whatever.
I just mean you were definitely very protective of that paint job for longer than most.
Well, longer than most, but then it saw its demise also at Descent to Darkness.
Yeah, that's fair. That definitely went through a rough time at Descent into Darkness.
So yeah. So did that, and then my last rig I took out, I feel like he hasn't been out for a while, and he's a dirty old bastard himself. The old Ronathon here.
Ron. Good
Ron
old
J.
Ron.
And Ronnie J was doing some mega work. He was crawling up straight up stuff that other people were having troubles at. But then, as soon as I find a pivot point, then Ron just loses all his greatness. He's too flat and he's too long.
He's like a great ascender, and that's about where the buck stops with Ron.
Yeah. I mean, he can descend too.
True, that's fair. That is fair. Yeah, anything involving hills, just as long as there's nothing involving turns or breakover angles. The hill can't end, basically. The hill has to just continue into nothing. It can turn on the hill.
I can't just have that little bump.
Can't turn and have a breakover angle, or have a breakover angle at all. Basically, just breakover angle is not a thing.
It's a crack whore.
It's sure. Yeah. Okay.
It is. It's a sand hollow crack whore.
Demonetized.
Oh, whoops. All right.
Well done.
Different. It's not the one you think, YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
But
Well, good. I'm glad that
anyways,
you guys got out there. That sounds like a good time. I'm sad that I missed it, but I'll definitely be prepping rigs. It's funny that you showed the Pro first. I'm gonna try to make so those Kraken rails are specifically designed by Rock Pirates. Shout out Rock Pirates. Specifically designed by Rock Pirates for that Pro kit. Which is awesome, and it works spectacularly well for the Pro kit as a drop-in. Really, really good rails as for that purpose. But I don't know that I want to go that route specifically. I want to see if maybe I can use some of the stuff that I've got to make it work. Also, I need to hit up Scumbag because he's still got a set of metal axles that I technically paid for. But then I also have plastic axles that he paid for. We just haven't facilitated a transition of the axles yet. But we have been talking about that since before Proline, like a few weeks before Proline. So it's been a minute. But
calling you out.
We've been busy. Dude, I'm not calling him out because it's like I haven't even talked to him about it yet. I was just thinking about that this morning. I was like, shoot. I need to get those axles, but I was going to use those axles on the R2. I think I'm still going to use those on the R2. Yeah, because I got some really nice. I got those the Prices Customs shocks for the R2 that are dialed for that exact setup with those metal Trio axles, metal Trio Capra portal axles. So I've got that on the bench, and then besides that, the real big next project is going to be I've got some purple Kraken rails, but like I said, don't want to go with the Pro, so I want to try to use what I have. However, all I really have is some AR-45 axles, or I have to try to scavenge something off of something else, which I'm kind of into the idea of it because, dude, okay, all I'm saying, I'm not buying more trucks. I have too many trucks. This is too many trucks. Like 7 trucks is too many. If I can like scavenge parts off of trucks and whittle it down from like 7 trucks that I kind of like, and then whittle it down to 3 trucks that I really like, and just have a bunch of spare parts, then so be it. So be it, man. It is what it is. So what if it's a Mog body on top of purple Kraken rails? That'd be dope. Okay? Just saying.
I'll give you a pair of AR-44s, not for you not to steal them off the Mog.
All right. Just saying, though. What do you have against turning the Mog into a comp-killing purple Kraken rail Mog? Pretty sick. Could already be Joker themed because it's green Mog body and then purple rails. Ooh, okay. I'm talking myself into this even more.
But Taylor already has a rig called the Joker.
I know, but mine would be different.
It'd
be the Moger. Yeah. What else do you have on your? So you just have fixing to do. It sounds like. If those are your 3 functional rigs, you're in fixing mode. Or do you have new builds on the bench, and that's what's causing you to avoid fixing?
Oh, you're gonna bring up that, are you? Oh,
no, I'm just
that
asking.
one.
We're moving on to the next subject. It's the bench.
The funny thing is,
okay.
So what happened over Proline is Alec and I got picked up by Rock Pirates. We are the team drivers for the Rock Pirate Boys.
It's the first time that the channel's hearing about this, so congratulations.
Yes. Yay! There's some good friends.
You're listening to us now. You know the news. Otherwise, you'll hear whenever I get around to it.
Well, I think it's kind of funny. Is so a couple of the Rock Pirates boys, naming Luke and I think West Desert Wheeler and I think one other guy had it. They had made a Kraken Capra axles with G-Shock links, and it's an all-wheel steer Capra. So I was like, all right, I can do that. That's easy. I have like 4 G-speeds. Let's rip all those apart and try to put this all together the night before and then in the morning of before a comp. Great idea. Great idea. Not great idea. So, I start pulling together, we're pulling apart G speeds, and you got a back axle here, you got another back axle here, and suddenly you got a whole front end here. So you're like, okay, you're making progress. Oh, look, you got another front end here. So you're just pulling all this stuff apart, and they're just spread across this hobby table that's in front of me. I have all these different rigs like torn apart. I need this piece from this rig. I need this piece from this rig. I need this transmission. And then I decided, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to drive 50 miles or whatever, 20 miles over to a buddy's house, Zach's house, because he's like, hey, I have an extra pair of cracking rails you can do this with. You can just have them. I'm like, okay. Didn't want to wait for shipping or anything, all this stuff. So I have this all going. And then I need the only pair of cracking rails I have right now. We're on this. So I pulled this apart.
Okay.
So now I think I'm up to like 1, 2, 5 rigs pulled apart on my table to make one rig. And
it's a dangerous
so
predicament to end up into.
Yeah, so basically I get this kind of like somewhat put together, and I realize that the skid plate that I'm going to use, which is not the skid plate I'm supposed to use, but I used it, doesn't work because it's not thick enough, and I have a 2-0 transmission that hits both rails and will not screw into my skid plate.
Perfect.
So after like this huge headache of trying to like jimmy rig all these things together, it did not work. And I basically just threw all the stuff on my desk, grabbed Ron, and went to the comp. Of course, it was a little too cold, and for some reason Ron didn't like the cold or the battery I had. So I didn't even play on my RC. I just watched a couple of buddies comp, and that was great. So fast forward, I then decided, why don't you at least put together the rig that was put together in the first place? So I put the rails back onto this. That was easy. And now I have a giant pile of G speed in the corner here that I need to figure out how I'm gonna sell it or what I'm gonna do with it. So if anybody needs some G speed rails, I got them for sale. I don't need these anymore. Look at all these mounts and stuff I got printed for you.
Yeah, you have a lot of G-Speed mounts, multicolored.
Well, the funny thing is that, when we all started down this road of comping, I had already been into the little comp scene for a minute and already had like 2 different G-Speed rigs, and then you just keep on buying more, and then you take all your RTRs and you make them into G-Speed rigs. And then you join a different team and you got to transfer a bunch of stuff over.
Hey, but on the right side, if you're like me and you never build a G-Speed in the first place that you've had sitting on your desk forever, then when your
friend printed every mount and size and slider for you possibly,
still could potentially use those pieces just on a different rig now. But I didn't waste any energy on it, right? That was all. That could have been wasted energy.
By the way, like those mounts are like the only thing you're going to be able to use out of all that stuff.
Yeah, that's all right.
But no, so I definitely, had some building going, and now I just have to figure out what I want to do with all this stuff. I have plenty of parts, plenty of axles and electronics and shocks. Just got to kind of transfer everything over nice and slow.
Nice. Very nice. Well, yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot. I've got basically... Well, I'm not in the same spot, I will say, because all of my rigs do work now, but I kind of want to start doing the same thing of disassembling and reassigning parts to different places. And being that this is really... I feel like I'm a year or 2 behind you in the hobby in terms of, you were describing like you're going through the phase of switching everything over to G-Speed. Like I didn't have that phase, but now I kind of am hitting that point where I want to switch stuff over to flat rails. and I want to just like kind of try to keep things the same but refresh them. My like goal is to do as much as possible, like feel like I'm changing a lot and upgrading as much as I possibly can, and really improving the performance of everything in every way I possibly can, but do that without spending money. Because I see
The Alec way. That's the Alec way.
yeah, exactly, as cheap as possible, the cheap ass way. Ginger Ninja said TRX4 clone axles are $75 on Amazon, and that's a very good point. But that is $75 that I do not want to spend right now. Turns out that ripping your ACL is kind of expensive, even with good insurance. I was planning
Surprise.
to be healthy when I signed up for my insurance plan, and being a young man, didn't expect to get unhealthy super quickly, and then almost immediately after signing up for my insurance plan, I hurt myself. So I will be paying out of pocket for some of the stuff that I've got coming up, which is fun. And then on top of that, the summer's been an expensive summer of acquiring expensive other hobbies, which has been expensive as well. So we're trying to, RC is like the thing that I can do, that I can enjoy, that doesn't cost me a ton of money. And I have so much stuff. I have so much RC stuff that I have already acquired that I can use without spending more money. So that's the plan. That's the goal.
Yay! Alec's gonna come RC again.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna sit in like a chair in one spot and RC up the same hill over and over again. But for the foreseeable future, or for the next few weeks at least, I'll be trying to catch up on all the projects that I had going on. I'm super stoked actually, because there's a couple like ones that I've been putting off that I'll have some time for. Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my bench update. My bench update isn't like really as exciting as your bench update, because you had stuff to actually show. I could like go walk and get things, but I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that.
No, that's fine. I have everything here. You gotta like roll, but you only got one leg to like push your little rolly chair. And
that reminds me. Well, that didn't remind me, so screw you. But I have the snowmobile to get out of storage and to prep for the season. There's snow, man. We could go hit it. We could go hit it today. We could go bring the snowmobile out and
I really got on top of that project, didn't I?
Yeah, you said you were gonna have one for this season, dude. What happened?
Well, we'll say, life experiences changed a little, and so there wasn't.
I have all the parts that you need to build one. So
we'll say, hey, look, I have one printer set up.
That's all you need.
It still hasn't been turned on since I set it up. So
yeah,
we'll say
a little dusty.
I'm pretty behind on my own 3D printing. I have probably a list this long of all the homies that want stuff printed.
I feel you. I've got a giant list of requests.
Yeah.
SLZ Sleaze Builds, what's up? How's it going, man? Good to see you here.
So yeah, one day I'll get some 3D printing going again.
Well, in the meantime, we can share a snowmobile. It's fun to just watch it rip around and take turns.
Well, what I'm really thinking of, man, and I still need to talk to you about it. And I think this is definitely the week I'm going to order it. Is need to get into them drones, man.
Dude, yeah, I
need to get
get
that headset and the controller.
Let me know what I can do to help you on that front. Obviously it's for anyone who's interested in getting into RC drones, or who has any sort of like interest in FPV stuff at all. It's way easier to get into FPV stuff if you reach out to people and ask questions. Facebook groups are great if you've got friends, obviously, who do it. Reach out to them, ask them all the questions, because there's so much shit to know. That I've been doing FPV drones for like almost 2 years now, year and a half, and I still barely know anything. And if you don't keep up with it, and you're not like on top of it all the time, like there's new releases, new products constantly. It's a tough hobby to get into just because of how quickly it moves, but there's a lot of resources out there. There's a ton of people who are willing to help you get into it, and there's a lot of Yeah, there's a lot of resources. You just got to know where to start, and usually the easiest place to start is to make a friend or find a Facebook group and start asking questions. Figure out what you want out of it. Honestly, what I was thinking about for you and what I was thinking about for myself, especially going into the winter, is some like long range, like do some mountain ridge, like some ridge following, like for a few miles. I don't know if that sound. I feel like that sounded kind of cool. Like get some crazy snowy ridge top footage. I thought that'd be nifty.
That's
But
all I'm
also,
going to be doing this winter.
yeah, yeah.
I
All right.
only got one job. My pass is during the weekdays, so weekends are going to be definitely a lot of split boarding as much as
Nice.
I can.
Nice. I like it. Dude, that would be so sick to get like, oh man. Okay, now you got me. Now you got me thinking, cuz you could like have a waterproof like little bag for all of your FPV gear and bring it split boarding with you and get to dope places and then like go do like bowl dives and stuff. Oh, up in the mountains. That'd be so sick. That would be so sick. I'd still like to print me one, says Jalapa Garage. Hey, dude, hit me up. I've got enough parts for like 3 or 4 other people in the group to make one of these snowmobiles. So if you're interested, like legitimately interested, let me know, please. Because it's gonna take me like a decade to go through all this hardware otherwise, which I will. Like, I will go. This all the stuff that I bought for the snowmobile has been endlessly useful since I built the snowmobile. Like there's random stuff that you need little bolts and nuts for all over the place.
Spacers and this
Yeah,
and that.
yeah, it's
Yeah, for
nice.
sure.
It's nice to have it around, and like they're really common sizes. So, but yeah, I want to make like a long range FPV drone for that reason, to be able to do those kind of crazy mountain dives and stuff like that. Like all of my drones right now are freestyle drones, which are really cool for a lot of reasons. The biggest reason that people like FPV drones is they're like practically indestructible. So if you're getting into FPV, freestyle drones, even though it's kind of counterintuitive because you see people doing crazy shit with freestyle drones, stuff that beginners could never dream of doing, and that's cool and all, but the biggest reason that beginners should start on freestyle drones is because they're super beefy. They're meant to like slam into concrete, and like they're meant to be used in, you know, buildings and around metal, and they expect you to just like absolutely mangle those things. So they're built really, really tough, and that's great for beginners because unless you spend a lot of time in your simulator, which you should do anyways. Actually, that's a great thing to bring up, is you should buy a controller and start simming right away if you're interested in it. You don't even need to wait for goggles. Just start, like I use the simulator just on my computer, like just through the normal screen. You know, it works just fine. Like you don't need the goggles. You don't need the full immersive experience just to get into it. You can totally get into it without that. So that's super low commitment. You can get into it for like $50. You know, just get a controller. You don't need a super fancy module for any sort of frequencies because you're just going to USB hook it up into your computer. You don't need a super fancy computer because most flight simulators are like not fancy video games. They don't have crazy, like they have realistic physics, but they don't have a whole lot of shit going on. So like any laptop or any computer could run FPV simulator stuff. Lots of different ones out there. I'm trying to think of the one that I got. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's not coming to me. It's not on the tip of my tongue, but it'll come. There's a bunch of them. You can just Google it. FPV flight simulator. I'm sure, again, like I said, it's probably changed since the last time that since I got into it. There's probably a better one. So Googling is often a good option there, as long as you like run it by people who can double check to make sure you're not going to get taken advantage of in that sense. But yeah, Ginger Ninja says I might be up for doing the snowmobile this winter. Yeah. The one downside to starting it now for the winter is you will have it like in February because there's so many pieces to print. Unless you're like Mike and you've got 2 printers and you can run like 2 printers simultaneously, it's it's it took some time for me. I did the math at one point, and I have it somewhere. I have it written down somewhere, like how long it took me in hours to print everything, but it was a lot of hours. Let's see if I can even just find. I'm kind of curious. Like, did I put it? I think I put it in here.
You just got to be on big projects like that. You just got to be on it. You got to have everything set up, all the stuff loaded, so you're just
Yeah,
banging
you
them
got to be
out.
cranking through it. You got to just go from like one print to the next. No delay in between the prints. Like as soon as one print finishes, you got to be going on to the next print. And again, that's why I say it definitely helps to have, if you've got two printers like what you got going on, it definitely helps. I don't know where. I'm gonna have to figure out. I hopefully didn't like delete all of those files. I thought that I kept them.
I thought you remembered you had them already. Maybe they're still on your SIM card.
No, I mean I know I can re-download the files themselves off of the website if I need to, but I thought that I put them in on my external hard drive, and I'm not seeing them there. If I had them on my computer, they're gonzo. Oh, you know what? Actually, they're on my desktop computer. So next week, when I can actually crawl under my desk and turn my computer on, I'll be able to get to those.
Do you mean to come over and turn your computer on, bud?
No, it's okay. I don't need anything off it right now. I made this work. This is like the biggest. This is like the biggest hurdle yet. I do most of the stuff that I need to do. Like I do all my freelance work and I do all my normal stuff off my laptop. So it's fine. My desktop is just like used for kind of those random heavier like activities, some editing, like bigger videos and doing live streaming and like video games and stuff, but haven't had any time for video games lately, so it's been what it's been. It's been just chilling. Yeah, snowmobile. Definitely worth it, but unfortunate to start. Like, no one thinks about it until freaking October, and then it's too late. Do we have, what else were we going to talk about? We talked about our scene. We talked about our recent our scene. We talked about kind of what's coming up for us in terms of our bench time. Talked about what we're going to be doing this winter. I didn't really check. I meant to check before. Oh, what? Hello? Am I back? Am I alive? Uh-oh.
Good now. You're good.
Oh. Yep. Oh. Well, maybe that's a sign that
I think you're good.
My internet's starting to have troubles. Wow, my laptop is draining super fast, even though it's plugged in. That's kind of interesting. That's good to know for live streams. We're learning. This is a learning process on the laptop. That's another thing. The internet thing. I'm surprised that's the first like internet hiccup we've had since we're totally relying off of Wi-Fi. And anyone who hasn't streamed before, like if you don't understand how heavy of a process this is to try to do a live stream, even just like a simple live stream like this, like crappy, laptop quality video, not super nice or anything, like this is heavy. This uses a ton of internet. My laptop is hot as hell right now. It's it's plugged in and it's still draining battery. Like this is not if you're thinking of getting into live streaming, know that it is not an easy thing to try to do. Even on the low end, even if you're trying to keep it simple, it's still pretty tough. But yeah, I think more or less we got through everything we talking about, except for what I was going to say before I started glitching out was that I wanted to look up like if there were any new kind of interesting RC things that I hadn't seen in the last few weeks. Really, what I got acquainted with was everything that had been launching around and during ProLine. I still think that like tow truck that was it Red Cat? I'm pretty sure it was Red Cat, wasn't it?
The Red Cat Ford tow over is what they call it or something like
Still
that.
think or cab over? Yeah.
Cab
That
over, cab over.
cab over tow or cab over flat tow bed. That thing was sick. I still think that thing's dope. If I was into like the lowrider scene, which I just can't get into another RC scene. But if I was into it, I would definitely get one of those and pimp it out because those are dope. But I'm still pining after one of those jet boats, those like shreddy jet boats. Those are sick. The Axial Pro Jet or whatever it's called.
Hold on,
Pro
you
boat.
you just said you can't get anything more RC.
I'm not.
That's another thing.
I'm not. Definitely. Not anytime soon, at least. But I'm just trying to think of releases that'd be cool to talk about that
Uh, those
other people
that
can buy. Other people that have money can purchase them.
those little jet boats do look pretty cool. I've seen a couple people play around with them, and
I think
looks like you
those for
kind of.
our area, like where we've got a lot of like little creeks and rivers and stuff that are coming out of the mountains, dude, I think that'd be so dope. Spending some time up in the Uintas with one of those would be dope. Watching the guys pass us like with their crawlers and they've got like the trailers behind the crawlers that have the boats on them so they can like trailer them down to the river and then put them in the river, go up and then go back down to the trailers and take them out. Like I think that'd be dope. I'd like to do that. But yeah, it's definitely an expensive proposition. I told myself that last season when we were going into the winter that I'd get a jet boat for this season and then kind of let like the spring slide, which I feel like is the best time for a jet boat, like when all the runoff's happening and it's like crazy big rivers would be cool. High risk but high reward. So I let that slip and then I didn't really want to get one after the fact. And then they released that cool new one and I was like, dope, I'm glad I waited. And then I got really, poor.
That's what happens when you get big man hobbies, old person
Yeah,
hobbies.
definitely.
Not the young man hobbies.
When the baseline price for the thing, whatever the thing is, the Farkle, when the baseline price goes from like $400 to $40,000, all the accessories that you add to that thing, all the Farkles for your Farkle, they all get way more expensive. Like obtusely expensive. I have a shopping cart right now set up with like stuff that I am just pining after that I can't buy, but I've wanted since I got the new motorcycle. It's like $6,000 worth of stuff, and that's like it's like bare minimum. That's like super easy, super like surface level stuff. That's like not even going into the crazy like performance mods or anything. There's that it has there's a couple performance mods in there, but nothing like huge. But yeah. It definitely gets more expensive when you go and step into the. I mean, that's the joke we always made with when we saw full size crawlers and we've got a little RCs, right? It's
So
like tenth the
why
scale,
don't
tenth the price.
But the thing is that
Which it
like you
isn't.
said, hold on, but you had the reason that you don't want to spend any money like on your RC stuff because you have so much RC stuff. Like, why do you have to spend all this stuff on motorcycle things?
I'm not spending money. Like I said, I'm not spending money on the motorcycle
Just
stuff. I'm
kidding.
pining after it. I'm pining after RC stuff too. I want RC stuff. I want motorcycle stuff. I want stuff for the Suron. I want gun stuff. I want more. I want a new laptop. I want a new camera. I want a lot of new stuff. But that's like,
What's up, Marsha? How you doing? I want.
yeah, dude, this is the way it goes.
Mrs.
We got to work
Brady.
for it though. One step at a time. I will achieve all of that.
You will. You'll catch up.
The laptop and camera and stuff, that all just goes through that all goes through the LLC. So the company will take a hit on that, but I'm just waiting for the right time to buy new devices. New phone, new laptop, new camera are all coming soon, but I'm waiting for Apple to announce some new stuff that I know is coming down the pipeline, so I can get some cheaper prices on some better stuff, and then I'll do all that. Same with the phone. Gonna wait till next year on the phone. Next year's phone release, when that happens, then I can get a cheap 15. Get the first generation that they released this year with the USB-C. Try to be smart about wanting things and purchasing wants, but doing it when it makes the most sense to do so. But Yeah, I'm not buying anything right now. I'm paying off. I'm still paying off truck repairs, and then after that, I'll be paying off body repairs.
It's okay. And then soon you will be one man whole again.
Whole again, yes, with working truck. It's funny that I like repaired my truck and then I couldn't even go pick it up. It's like I asked my roommate. It was like, "Hey, can you go pick up my truck?
Can you go
Make
get
sure
my
it runs
truck
right."
for me?
Just park it in the driveway. Thanks, appreciate that.
Wait, so which roommate did you ask?
A Glenn. Well, I mean, he was the only one that was available at the
I
time.
was like, yes, Aaron to drive a truck. Has he ever done that before?
Hey, he drives a Ford. He'd be used to it. All
Yeah,
all
right.
the rattles that he'd be used to are all the same. Uh, all right. Well,
Well,
that was
good
that was
times.
fun. I think we covered all our topics. Do you have anything else you want to cover before we say goodbye to all these lovely people here today?
Not much. I wish Alec a speedy recovery, or else I'm just gonna start like piggybacking him. Maybe do if you guys have ever seen the old movie Mad Max and the Thunderdome, I can be Master, or I can be Blaster, he can be Master. I can have him up on my back.
I love it.
If you haven't seen that movie, that's an old Mel Gibson one.
I
It's
gotta
pretty
add that to
cheesy.
the list.
Anyways, well, I think the only thing is there's the Logandale showdown that Luke and couple and Logan are doing from they're doing that I think the December 2nd and 3rd down in Logandale, and that's all MOAs and Sporties.
You know where people
They
can
got a
find out more
couple.
about that?
It's just on the Facebook. I mean, you could probably find it through North vs South might have it on Facebook.
Let's see if I can
But
refresh my
yeah,
computer trying
it's
to look
just
for it.
MOAs and Sporties. They got Shift RC, Reefs, Rock Pirates RC, a couple other brands of RC that has sponsored it, and should be a good time. Looks like you're gonna have lunch out there, some hot dogs and chips from the Costco,
Drop the
and
old
I
link
don't know.
in there.
I'm gonna see if I can maybe hitch a ride down with someone or something, just to go hang out. I don't have an MOA, but you know, maybe hang out, be around RC people, be a nerd. I heard that place really cool, anyways, to RC.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool. I have not been down there. I'd like to go, but that might be a little soon for me, and I don't know what the accessibility is like down there or anything. So
If anything, I'll just chloroform Alec and throw him in the back of his truck with a pillow and just drive his ass down there in his truck.
yeah, I'm hoping mobility will come back quick, but I don't know if it'll come back that quickly, unfortunately. I've got yeah, Jalopy, I get you there. Can barely afford to keep my RCs going. Totally know how that goes. I pinned the link to that event group on Facebook in the chat, so you can take a look at that. That's the Logandale Grand Slam, December 2nd and 3rd. Definitely want to get into the MOA or the like crazy performance rigs. I think that's on my list as well. Maybe that's an excuse to bust out the 3D printer and start kind of 3D printing parts.
Yeah.
But that's a whole bunch of parts that I don't own, so that's kind of going to be down the road a little bit. But I've been talking about doing that for a while. I think the MOAs, they look like I always have a really good time watching MOAs. They can do some crazy stuff. So
I would like to do crazy stuff with them, because when you're sitting there with the trail rig and someone's playing with the MOA, you're like,
yeah, you're like, God,
well, that line's cool. I won't ever get up that thing. Maybe with a wench, maybe.
And like, I get, I get some people don't like the crazy look of it or whatever, but I mean, it's just something, I don't know. It's different, it's not like, at the end of the day, it's not like our Lexan bodies and everything that we try to do. It's not like it looks 100% like a real truck anyways. It's kind of cool to go the opposite direction with it and just not really give a shit what it looks like and just care what it's capable of.
Spider.
Yeah, exactly. Just
be a little
really
spider ninja.
only caring about the capabilities is kind of fun. I understand that. that train of logic as well. I mean, I get both sides of it, right? I totally understand making it look as realistic as possible. I've been that guy who's like laying on the ground taking pictures of it, trying to make a picture that'll fool people into thinking it's a real truck. But I also get the idea of just wanting something that's really cool and performance driven. But yeah, that's a
I'm
good
waiting for
shout
a
out
good
though.
deal.
Yeah, good deal
You
for
know,
sure. For sure. That's why I
I'm
say
waiting
the
for
3D
that good
printing
deal.
now. Like I think that's a way to do it where you could do a lot of it for free or for very cheap, and then the hard part is just getting the, it's the
Yeah,
actual like axles, the wheels, that stuff is, and MOA gear, you're right, like MOA gear is expensive. So
dude. I was talking to Scumbag RC this morning when I was at breakfast over the phone, and he told me what his new rig is going to cost, and I was just like, "That's so stupid."
he
It's
has a
so
way of
expensive.
like making something that costs like $3,000, somehow he can get it for like 500.
He didn't do
He's
that.
kind of a
He
magician.
didn't do that. He
No,
didn't do that.
that's unfortunate.
He definitely gets the discount prices, whatever, that, like, a couple things, but it's getting pre-assembled, and yeah, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll say that the gleam of purple is going to be ridiculous.
How am I
But
not
yeah,
surprised?
yeah. Why are you not surprised, right? I remember that one time he said, after all those purple LCG rigs he made and all these accessories, like, I'm sick of purple. And then suddenly there's another purple rig coming along again. I'm like,
We got a Lone Star Crawler in here. How's it going? We're just wrapping up. You made it before we completely wrapped up, though.
what's up, Josh? How you doing?
Yeah, that's the Lone Star.
Oh, it just says Josh Johnson on mine. I
Yeah,
guess you have
yeah.
one stuff.
I'm just making a Instagram account reference.
Oh,
Anywho, yeah. That's
sweet.
I don't have anything to shout out. That was a good shout out though. I linked that in the chat. I'll link it in the description as well once this is over. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday. I hope that you enjoy it. I hope that you get outside and bask in the glory of the sun. Or if you don't do that, I hope that you enjoy a nice, peaceful, and tranquil afternoon in your home or your domicile, whatever it may be. Yeah. We'll see you. We'll see you all soon. We'll probably be doing this more regularly going into winter. It's cold and sad outside, and I can't do stuff with my legs, so
And we'll
I'll
start
never play the
planning more,
piano
because
again.
really, we pulled this whole one out of our butts. Like,
Yeah,
there
this
was
was
no planning.
this came out of nowhere. I mean, we talked about it like on Friday a little bit, and then we were like on Saturday. It was like none of us said anything about it, and then this morning we both just kind of assumed that it was happening at the last second, and then I had to rebuild everything from the ground up because yeah, I don't have my desktop turned on. So, but now it's built. Now it's golden.
Yay!
Now we can just keep doing it, and it'll be way easier.
Sweet.
So yeah. All right.
Well, thank you for the 11 that stuck around the whole time. You're all a
Heck
bunch of
yeah.
soldiers.
We had 49 people join us at different points. But yeah, we had 10 pretty much between 9 and 10 throughout the entirety of it. So appreciate y'all for sticking around and hanging out with us today and spending some of your valuable time with us. It's greatly appreciated. And we hope that you will join us again soon. But until then, au revoir. Can I go ahead and
No, you got to go towards. Yep, you got to go towards the